What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes. And amidst all this market turmoil, the bounce ups, or the mini bounce ups, but the majority of it is crashing down, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, everything that's being played out, I thought we'd do a little video that was a little bit different in terms of who I'd like to meet, right? Or at least have a sit down, whether it's 15 minutes, a half hour, or even just lunch, both from those who are from a bear mindset or perspective, or crypto skeptics, and those who are on the opposite end of that table. So the bulls, the Bitcoin / crypto bulls, and those who know, like I do, or at least we strongly feel that we know where things are going to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years in terms of crypto's importance or the blockchain's importance to the world. And so it's something interesting. I've kind of been thinking about it myself, that, you know, who would I like to meet? We always want to meet people who obviously we want to learn from, and obviously who, you know, for the most part, where we want to be. But I think it would be very interesting to sit down with people who think the opposite of what I think, and who are also highly respected, and see where the views are and where the differences are, and kind of go about that. So I just wanted to do this video. It's something interesting, and hey, you never know if I ever get to meet any of them, and have the conversation and see where it plays out. So on the bear side, who are the three bears? And I'm doing three bears and three bulls here. So the first one is someone who made a comment recently, maybe about yesterday or so, is Bill Gates. He came out and said that there's no value in crypto. He understands that a value of a farm or companies or things of that nature. And I find it quite interesting for someone who was the early stage of the internet, and creating software, and probably heard similar comments about what he was trying to do on the platform he was trying to do it on, which was the internet, was the fact that it's a sham, it's not going to be around, it's a fad, it has no real use cases. I mean, he developed his wealth through that technology, which at that time, 99% of the world or more thought it was a joke, or not useful, or very specific use cases, and not, you couldn't use it en masse. So I find it very interesting that someone like that would say what he says. So that's one. Two, I think Warren Buffett, him and Charlie Munger kind of go hand in hand, where they call it rat poison and this and that. And look, I actually don't begrudge them for that at all. I mean, they are, the age that they are. I think Buffett's around 92, 93. Munger's like 96. It's just what they grew up with, and what they're comfortable with, and that's fine. But to come out and to completely bash a technology play without understanding it, and do it so strongly, they're obviously another. I mean, outside of all the things that the wealth of knowledge that they have outside of crypto, I think it's just an amazing wrinkle that, knowing what they know, knowing how they were late on Amazon, knowing how they didn't care for the internet or .com plays, and how they talked down towards that, and then ended up getting in on the Apples and things like that later on. I find it interesting. So, does history repeat itself? It can, if you don't take the necessary steps to remedy it, and so it seems like they're on that same track again. So they're the second. Warren Buffett more than Munger, but like I said, they kind of go hand in hand. And number three, which is the ultimate Bitcoin skeptic, Bitcoin hater, only pops up when Bitcoin is not doing well, or is finding a dip or a crash like we are now, is Peter Schiff. I mean, the ultimate, gold proponent. It just blows me away, for someone who does not care for crypto at all, how much he talks about crypto. And it's definitely not it's definitely not in the interest of the community that he's doing that. I mean, he's talking about gold. He's a gold bug, and that's fine. That's all well and good. There's many people out there who are. But gold has done nothing over the last 20 years. You know, if gold spikes $20, which it did a little while ago, Peter Schiff's out there tweeting like, you know, you had a 300% gain. It's ridiculous. So, and his would just be purely from him being a crypto hater. That's it. Again, I respect what he's brought to the table, his reputation, and I respect gold. But that's just not my play, and I don't think that's a play for anyone in the younger generation. So it'd be an interesting conversation. So those are my three bears that I would love to have a sit down with. And who knows how long that conversation will last, but I think it'd be a very interesting conversation nonetheless. So Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, hand in hand, and Peter Schiff. So who are my three bulls that I would like to sit down with? Well, Michael Saylor is one of them. I mean, he is the poster child, the face of Bitcoin when it comes to, you know, big players in the space and legacy finance or traditional finance, that world. Him being the longest running CEO of a public company, and for him to shift, you know, it's one thing for a CEO to say, I'm going to do this. It's another thing for him or her to say, my company is going to remove or transition from cash reserves to Bitcoin reserves. So that's, and now taking loan after loan so that he can buy more. I mean, that's fascinating to me. So definitely Michael Saylor. Second would be Dan Held. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but if you're in the crypto space, you definitely know who he is. He's like an OG, original guy in the crypto space. Probably, I think 2014-15 is where he got in. Again, very big on Twitter. He has a YouTube channel as well. They're just very sensible, very matter of fact, and like I said, he's just a huge Bitcoin bull. So I enjoy the content that he puts out. So that would be a fascinating conversation. And number three for me actually is three young guys. Well, two young guys. One is probably just he's older than the other two. So Crypto. I don't know if you guys know who he is. I've made a video before about the top YouTube influencers, especially for me. Crypto is one of them. Actually, all three guys were in this. So Crypto is there just because of his energy. Is the only guy I know every single video. His energy level is up here. Okay, and you can say what you want about his trading or his predictions, but if you watch enough of his videos, you'll understand that trading is a small portion of his major portfolio, and he is a long-term holder. Okay, so I love his energy, I love his vibe, and I love his outlook on Bitcoin for the long haul. So along with him will come Carl the Moon, another young guy, another one who is very, you know, he's even more influential now, both on Twitter and YouTube as well. Just from his interviews, I think he did on Fox. I can't remember if he did CNBC, but he's been on some major broadcasts. And again, another guy that has a small portion of his portfolio in trading, but the majority of his content is around trading. Just again, good vibe, and I just like the content. So he'd be an interesting one. And the third one is DaVinci J15. Reason being because he made a video that's I think has over 2 million views back in, I think the video was 2010, where he was urging people, please just spend $1 on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin was $1 at that point, and it's fabulous to see how that video has aged, right? I mean, to get Bitcoin at $1, I don't even care if everyone's freaking out and saying it's 20,000 or it's going to go to 10,000. I mean, if he got the bulk of his at $1 or sub $100, that's great. So just the three of them, and they're all friends, and they all have a good time and create content together and collaborate. And I've been watching their content for the past 2 years or 2.5 years. Less now, more before, but just in general, I think it would be a great conversation, great energy, great flow, and so that's kind of where I put it. So my three bulls again are Michael Saylor, Crypto, Carl the Moon, and DaVinci J15 wrapped together as one, and Dan Held as the third one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. In the comment sections, I would love to hear who you guys would love to have a sit down with, bulls and bears, and let's see if any of those match the ones that I put out there. So again, guys, remember, tomorrow never comes. Take action, invest in yourself today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.